when I was in high school and college, I was really involved with choirs and musical groups. And I loved singing and performing. It was one of my favorite things and something I still like to do today. I loved all of that, and then I loved the acclaim and the applause that came with it. So much so that I would start to anticipate the sort of acclaim and applause that I thought that performance deserved. And if I didn't receive the applause I'd like or the acclaim from the certain people I wanted, I'd start to get worried and anxious and sort of feel like, what did I do wrong or what didn't I do that was good enough? I started to wrap my own self-worth into those performances, into the acclaim or the applause that I did or didn't receive from that. And I think that all of us in some way sometimes seek our own self-worth, or we seek acclamation from earthly sources, from things that really aren't the place where we are to find our own self-worth, from the approval of a boss or from a spouse, or from our status on social media, or from the newest and latest gadgets and cars or whatever that we have. And we start to say, this is how I can measure my own self-worth. But Jesus tells us in the gospel today not to work for the food that perishes, rather work for the bread that endures for eternal life. He's speaking to these people who have followed him across the sea because they ate the bread that he gave to the 5,000. And so he knows that they're seeking him because they've seen him do these miracles. And he's trying to bring them deeper into knowing who he truly is, not just to work for a man who apparently can do some miracles and keep feeding them forever, but rather to believe in him. Believe in him and the works that he does, but to believe in him because he's the one who gives that bread that eternally endures. And we see in our first reading someone who is a great example of working for the bread that eternally endures, with St. Stephen, who is preaching with great power, and he is not accepted by everyone, especially those who are the leaders of these different synagogues who start to stir up the people against Stephen to call him out. And then they bring him in before the Sanhedrin and they accuse him of things that aren't true. But this whole time, Stephen is very calm. And it says at the end of the gospel that his face looked like that of an angel. Because Stephen knew what was most important, the great well done from God on high. And he knew that he was doing the works of the Lord to spread the gospel. So it didn't matter to him that others didn't accept him. It didn't matter to him that he was even being rejected by them. But he knew by all of this, he was being accepted even more by our God and Father. So perhaps today we can ask ourselves and ask God, where are those places where I'm seeking earthly acclamation? Where are those places where I feel a need for applause so that I feel some self-worth from something that doesn't really give that self-worth? And then ask the Lord to reaffirm to us what our true identity is and help us to seek that bread that eternally endures, the bread of believing in Jesus Christ, and to seek the Father who is constantly telling us our identity, that we are beloved sons and daughters.